Good morning. So today I've got a bit of an interesting job. I have been given a job, it's a paid job, to scrape quite a considerable amount of moss off a roof. And it's a great opportunity for me to test out the long reach water-fed pole. Obviously I'm not going to put water through it, and the skyscraper tools that I've recently purchased. I'm also hoping to put some biocide treatment on the roof to prevent the moss from coming back. This is the first time I've carried out a job like this, so I'm expecting a steep learning curve, but unlike previous roof cleaning jobs, this one's paid, so we've got to be professional. We've got to get the job done by hook or by crook. We've got to get this job done to a good standard. So come along with me, watch what I'm doing. If you see that I'm doing something wrong, or if you've got any good advice, please, as always, put it in the comments. But hopefully this is going to be a good job and successful. We shall see. I'm going to be doing it off my cherry picker. So the first thing to do is to move the cherry picker into location, and let's crack on. It's quite a big job, and at some point I want to get home. We've got to get it done today, so let's move. Right, first things first, let's set up this pole. This is the first time I've set this pole up, so, well, I've had a look at it, and it's deciding what to use on the roof, I suppose. I think a good thing to use would probably be one of these quite aggressive wire brushes. We need to put it into this end first, so put it into one of them. I mean, my pack contains flat scrapers and all kinds of things, but I want to try out this wire brush. I think will be the best thing. But I'll take the pack up with me so that if I want to change, I can. I wanted to use a different long reach tool because I think the hose in this is going to end up irritating me. I'm going to tape it up for now. Hopefully I won't need anything longer than this. I thought that I actually had an old sort of long extendable decorator's pole, an extra long one, bigger than what you generally get at B&Q and shops like that I had many years ago when I sort of sold my services gutter cleaning right at the very beginning of my high access career. I have still got that pole, but it is rotten, rusted, and generally unusable. It needs throwing away. So today I'm going to tape this hose up. Hopefully we won't need to extend the pole because we've got the cherry picker, and hopefully this will do the job. But going forward, I think I'm going to try and see if I can use a long reach pole that hasn't got the water fed pipe going through it, because I think the pipe's just going to get in my way. Right, well, we're ready to go. I'm going to take this up with me just in case we need to change the scrapey tool. I'm going to nip back to the truck, get my headphones on, because this is definitely a job that requires some kind of podcast or audio book, I should think. And yeah, let's crack on and see how we get on. I'm going to stop here because this is a good place to chat to you. So if you've noticed from the video, I've stopped using the long reach tool. That just simply wasn't touching this moss on the roof, which is really stuck on quite stiff. I then actually scrapped using the skyscraper tools instead, went down, got myself a bucket trowel and a mini shovel, and I'm finding the shovel is the only thing that is scraping this moss off the roof. That is what I've currently done. I thought this might be a good opportunity or a good place to express my opinion on jet washing a roof. I believe there's a bit of controversy in the industry about jet washing roofs, how potentially a high pressure hose or high pressure jet could strip the protective layer of tiles off a roof. I personally think you're going to get more damage from having moss sat on a tile and algae, which holds moisture, keeping a roof damp for longer, causing more of a freeze, thaw and weathering effect, than cleaning it off with a high pressure water jet. Now obviously if your pressure's too high and you start blowing the roof to pieces, that's going to be a problem and that is going to damage the roof. But removing moss with water, it can only be a good thing in my opinion. Let me spin you around and show you what's going on this roof. So you look at this roof now, and we are in England, it's spring, and we've had a period of about 8 weeks of dry weather. So at the moment, this roof is dry. We've got nice sunshine. There's a big tree here that shades it. Now, in the winter time, when it's wet and damp, this moss is never going to get dry. This roof is likely going to be wet for weeks and weeks at a time. So having this moss on the roof is going to be doing it a lot of damage. Now, as you can see, I've had to scrape this moss off, and I've done this scraping it off. Yes, I've had to do it aggressively because it's stuck on hard, but look at the damage. I mean, this is the damage that the moss has caused. If you can remove this moss, that is going to save these tiles a lot of weathering, more so than the damage, in my opinion, done by removing it with a jet washer. That obviously is my opinion, and you may have your own opinion, and of course you are welcome to it. And as ever, I always like to hear your opinions, so please drop them in the comments. If you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm right, let me know. We're here to learn, in my opinion, and by hearing different points of views on the subject helps us to create our own informed opinion. Currently, my opinion is removing moss by scraping or by jetting it off is going to have more beneficial effects for the roof than letting it stay there. I'm going to crack on with this roof using my little shovel. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be, as I am finding all of these roof cleaning experiences to be much harder than I expected them to be. I was hoping to get an early day today. That's not going to happen, I can see. So let's crack on, let's get this done, and let's go home once it's finished. Okay, let's go.
No peace of mind. I will congregate. Do you return from me? But I know in time. Then I pause and kiss myself. Drink a beer, cool down my friend. Do you return from me? Do you return from me?
finished scraping this side of the roof and I've blown it off with the blower. According to this, I need to be mixing this biocide at a ratio of 20:1. This is a 20 litre tank. I don't actually have a measuring tool, so I'm going to have to put what I think is a litre of the biocide in here. Probably put a little bit more in, just because I don't think it'll hurt. And yeah, we'll put it on the roof. Once again, this job has created a right mess to tidy up. I've also got to go next door because there's a load next door that needs tidying up as well. I wish I'd brought a rake with me. I haven't, but there's a learn to take from this job. I either brought a rake or a lawnmower. A lawnmower would just suck that straight up, no problem. But what I've got is a sweeping brush, a decent shovel this time, a decent sweeping brush, and a blower. Well, I'll have this tidied up in no time. I'm finished, I'm tidied up, and I'm just about to leave this job. But before I do, I wanted a bit of a reflection on what I've been doing. First thing to reflect on is the use of the long reach tool with the skyscraper tools. First of all, the long reach tool that I'm using isn't really suitable, I don't think. The water fed hoses get in the way and it was difficult to adjust up and down. Secondly, particularly on the heavily mossed area, using a long reach tool, I wasn't able to apply enough pressure onto the tiles to actually effectively remove the moss. So the long reach tool was a bit of a waste of space, and the cherry picker was an absolute godsend, because otherwise I think I'd have had to have put ladders on the roof and scraped it using ladders. Secondly, on this occasion, I'm not impressed by the skyscraper tools. Little shovel that I was using was by far the best tool for the heavily mossed area. And then where the moss was lighter, I found that a bucket trowel was much better. But once again, this is all down thanks, really, I think, to the fact that I was using a cherry picker. I could get right close up to the roof. If I was doing it off a scaffold tower, then maybe on the areas where the moss wasn't too heavy, the long reach tool and the skyscraper tools might have been okay. I don't know, I haven't tested it. I did buy the skyscraper tools with a different job in mind, actually, a job that I've convinced a customer to do. It's quite heavily soiled like this one, but now I'm thinking that trying to take it on with the skyscraper tools and scraping the moss off the roof might be very difficult. So I'm thinking I might try and persuade him to have his roof jet washed instead. But again, what we have learned is this is blooming hard work. You know, this is not for the faint-hearted. There's a big tidy up at the end of the job as well. So yeah, make sure you leave yourself plenty of time, put a good price in for it because you're going to work hard, and don't underestimate the moss. Sometimes the long reach tools aren't going to work and you might need to get up close and personal to the roof to get it off. I hope this has been insightful for you. It certainly has been for me. It's definitely been a good learning curve. I'm grateful that I've taken on this job and got it done. If you have any comments, please comment, feedback, all that kind of jazz. I really appreciate your constructive criticisms and your tips and any advice you have around the industry. Please leave them in the comments, and I hope to see you on the next job. Thanks for watching.